I wanted to just have a final thought from each one of you, 30 seconds each, around, you've obviously been introduced to us by Scott Myers. You said, Michael, as an example, one of the most important things is in your game is also reputation and trying to pick, the winners, etc. Could I just ask, each one of you in 30 seconds, why do you want to, and are you prepared to get involved and help us with the WealthE Coin?
Sure. I like the model from the beginning. I like the fact that it follows the proposition of what I think is going to be big in 2018, which is real companies that have real assets that are then using the token to go and facilitate those assets reaching an even larger group. I'd mentioned Wax before. I brought people into Wax. I'm an advisor at Wax. I got an interest in Wax, and I got so many people to put in. I mean, literally they raised $80 million, and I in a couple of phone calls, like $5 million of that dollars came from me introducing people in a 3-day period. And the reason was it was very simple. Existing business, $1 billion a month in network revenue, and they were going to go and use a token to get rid of the credit card fees, and which were as high as 60% because they had, about 50% because they had 40% cross-border, which the underlying facility that basically is called OpSkins, that is the world's leading creator of digital skins, which is, if you're a gamer, you know what that is. If not, it's like digital baseball cards for gamers, and there's 400 million users of that, 100 times the amount of users of Bitcoin. And so if you end up looking and saying, oh, $1 billion in monthly revenue, and 300 million coins or whatever, and the number ended up being 200 million and change. If they can get 50% of that billion a month to save all those credit card fees and use the token instead, including just buying the token with the credit card on each end, that's $6 billion a year, and the whole market cap of the entire company is only a couple hundred million. Price has to go up. Supply and demand, scarcity. And with the WealthE token, with Wealth Migrate, you have a lot of the same things. You're looking at being able to go and power real estate crowd-funded projects that are otherwise difficult for a global marketplace to be able to access, while still keeping it in the crypto economics of a utility token. And it's something that really resonated with me. And then of course I look and see who else is on the team, and I see people like Richard Titus. I see people like Scott, who I've worked with over the years, going back to the early 1990s. And every single company that I've worked with, I read the paper, I meet the CEO, I have conversations about what they're going to do, where they're going to be 5 years from now, how they're going to spend the money. And then when I'm satisfied with that, I look and talk to the investors. And, literally a lot of the top investors, the first question they even ask me before what the company does is, who else is in the deal? And so, that's something that is a trend that, Wealth Migrate has been doing an excellent job of with this token.
Thank you very much for that. Richard, from your side?
So I think what I love about this project is and referring to what Michael said, it passed all my initial tests on team and proposition and market size. But actually, the thing I like about it even more is this idea of distributing access to investing in commercial real estate to less sophisticated investors, or investors who are geographically or geopolitically blocked from access to those markets. And I think that's a really powerful thing. It's my hope that this is the first step in modernizing the real estate market and access to investing in real estate, which is a thing that for many people is at best case opaque and complicated, and worst case completely not available to them. And I think it should be. I think that people's investment choices today are limited to an unsavory and not very well performing asset class called stocks, bonds, and funds.
Well, and thank you very much for that. And David, from your side?
our lifestyles are changing. If it was natural for a family 30, 40 years ago to get married, open a mortgage, stay put for the 10, 20 years needed to pay it off, and then have the home as part of the wealth of the family, the asset base of the family, for many today, not only it is not desirable because they move around so often, but in the most exciting and important hubs in the world, San Francisco, New York, Hong Kong, and elsewhere, it is impossible to buy an apartment or a house for too many, and they shouldn't. Now, through Wealth Migrate, a global supply of real estate is available at an entry point that allows everybody to place it to the level of investment that they can afford. And once again, through learning, which the WealthE Coin will afford to anybody, step by step, ever increasing level of sophistication, what it means to be a global real estate investor, that kind of learning is going to be an incredibly precious component of why participating in this initiative is going to allow an ever-increasing number of people to enjoy a future that they will be living together with us.
Awesome.